ein kleiner Mensch, mit einem kleinen Herz, mit so viel Hergation. Those are the words I once heard from our Pam Zechayim Lebracha. And that's my feeling this evening. So much feelings, so much emotions. 30 years of learning, Rabbi said, how do you explain, how do you understand 30 years of Abatzas Torah, 30 years of love and passion and excitement for learning? The Gemara says, Masechta Shabbos, when Abaye would see one Siyum, he would make a Yom Tiv. Evidently, Avos HaTorah dictates that one Siyum should transform a regular day into a Yom Tiv. What would Abaye say this evening, 30 years of learning, teaching, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, Azoifel Hergation. Rabbi Yossi asked me probably half a dozen times not to speak about him. I guess I would say, Ritzoyni shel Adam Zuhi Kvoidai. If you want to see the greatness of a person, look at his Ratzain. Ritzoyni shel Adam, a person's innermost desire, Zuhi Kvoidai. That indicates what the person is. He asked me to speak about one thing, Chizuk Hatorah. That's his greatness. Azoifel Hergation, when I think about really the inspiration of this evening, whose presence is sorely missed, and that's the beloved Rav Leibel Gliebman, who no doubt from his exalted position in Gan Eden is enjoying this wonderful Siyum. And it's a great chus to me to personally wish Mazel Tov to the matriarch of this illustrious family, Mrs. Gliebman Zayin Gesund. And we hope to continue to share nachas with your wonderful family. I understand there's another Bubby and an elder Bubby here. You should all continue to enjoy nachas from this spectacular mishpacha. But there's another person I want to make mention. I believe that's the unsung hero. My uncle Zechayim listened to Walton told me when his son married into the Schlesinger family in Eretz Yisrael. So the Panovich Rebbetzin, who outlived the Panovich Rebbe by many years, came for the Shabbos Sheva Brachas. And she wasn't family, so it was somewhat strange. What was she doing there? And she explained why she was there. Panovich Rav opened what arguably was the first kollel in the Litta, which really was a tremendous Mesiras Nefesh to be part of it. But unique in that kollel, there was a young couple that came from Germany. They both came from rich, aristocratic families, the lap of comfort in Europe. And they left Germany to a backwoods city called Panovich. And the Panovich Rav was very fond of this couple because they embodied Mesiras Nefesh in a very special way. One evening, the Panovich Rav comes to the Beis Medrash, and he sees this young woman pacing back and forth. So he approaches her, Frau Schlesinger, is anything the matter? What's wrong? He goes, no. I have an appointment, spazieren mit dem Mann. I'm going to take a walk with my husband. So the Rav says, aha, you mean he's late? I'll go and I'll call him out. So she says, no. Ich spazier mit seinem Kol Torah. He's learning, and I walk back and forth alone, and I have so much pleasure from hearing his sweet Kol Torah. That's my walk. Let him learn. If there's 30 years of Yossi Gliebman teaching Torah and inspiring Torah, it's because there's a Mrs. Yossi Gliebman whose greatest pleasure is spazieren mit dem Kol Torah of Yossi. There's no doubt about it. To give up a husband in the busy morning rush hour needs a lot of Mesiras Nefesh. And I can just say, Ashrecha v'ashrei chelkecha, you are an equal partner in this wonderful Siyum. I should also mention to all of you, the wives of Yossi's army of admirers, all those that come to the shir. Your husband's learning is your learning, and it's really one and the same. And the Rishons will help you that this wonderful shutfis, the early morning Yisachars and the Zvulins, the wives, they give up on their husbands, to continue to being an inspiration to all of Klal Yisrael. And everybody likes a new question, a thought-provoking question, an intriguing question. I would like to present a question that I am convinced defies explanation. Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol haleilos. Chazal tell us that Laila is symbolic of Golus. Why is this Golus that we find ourselves so different than any other Golus that we've ever experienced? You think about it, 80, 90 years ago, people worked 14, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. And today, Baruch Hashem, this Panasa, this 5-day work week works 8 hours a day. It's just easier to learn. When I grew up, there was Talmidei Chachamim, and there was Balabatim. And today you see Balabatim, great Talmidei Chachamim, learning Shas, knowing Shas. We live in a time that every 7.5 years, it's almost a minute, we get on the train or car, we travel to the Siyum Hashas. Was there ever a door that you didn't finish Shas every 7.5 years? Was there ever a door that we see what certainly is the crown of our Golus? My heroes, the Balei Tshuva, have changed total lifestyles. My Rebbeim have told us before the war, there was no Balei Tshuva. And you see today, thousands of Giborei Koyach that changed everything. How do you explain the explosion of yeshivas, of Beis Yaakovs, of Koilalim? How do you understand how Torah is available and accessible in every language and every level and every venue and every situation? A person can be in the Orient, and he takes the phone, and he presses a few numbers, and he connects to Kol HaTorah Kula. You can't miss a shir in our times. But the Tzveite Kasha is, when is this taking place? 75 years ago, a third of our nation was annihilated. And it seemed that Torah was rebuilt on the ashes of 6 million Yidden. When we said Kaddish on Klal Yisrael and Torah. And look at the phenomenal growth of Limud HaTorah. And the Dirta Kasha is, where is this all taking place? Who doesn't know America? Even the Stein is at a given treif. An Eretz Eicheles Yoishvel, literally. Assimilation into marriage was rampant. And I heard this from a Yid. He heard this from the Telzer Rosh Yeshiva, who came, ironically, to America in 1940 to raise funds. His family was killed in the war. And he wanted to build a yeshiva in America. So he went into Goldman's Svarm store. That was probably the only Svarm store in 1940. And he wanted to buy a Tzai Sachayshin. So the proprietor, Mr. Goldman, a guard al Chayid, said, I'm afraid there's no more Tzais. Wait, I might have one. He climbs up on a ladder. And he took a safe and he blew off the dust. And he said these words, tells the Rosh Yeshiva is mechubed mit the letzte Tzai Sachayshin in America. You are buying the last Tzai Sachayshin to be sold in America. And you think about today, how many thousands of psoisin are learned on a daily basis? Ma nishtana halayla hazeh. But you know what the third kasha is? If this would be Klal Yisrael, as rosy as it seems, it would be wonderful. But think what else is going on in America. The 90% of Yidden don't know what an aleph beis is. I had a cousin, a European, a feisty individual. I once met him. He didn't look good. I said, Blake, what's the matter? He says, what do you mean, what's the matter? I went to Bar Mitzvah in New Jersey. No one's wearing a yarmulke. I said, no one's wearing a yarmulke? He goes, yeah, one person, the rabbi. He says, no. So aren't you be happy with that? Because bad enough the rabbi is a woman. She has to wear a yarmulke? I'd rather not ruin the simcha, but think about what's going on in the world around us. And children at risk. And all the problems that are plaguing the neshama of Klal Yisrael. And then we see on one side the beauty of Limud Hatorah, the explosion of Limud Torah, and then we see 90% don't know what Torah means. And how do these two opposites just coexist so peacefully, and they blend so seamlessly? How do you understand the world that we live in? And I tell you that the only plausible, logical explanation is because a long time ago, the Rebbe Shalom wrote in his Torah that that's the way it's going to be in Tafshin Ayin Ches. And whenever I think about it, it just sends a shudder down my spine. Because it's an accurate portrayal of the world that we live in. The Goyen writes, Kedark in a few words, that the last 5,000 years in Golus are represented in the Chamisha Chumshei Torah. And each 1,000 years, each millennium, is found in a Chumash. And if you think about that, the Aleph Hashisha that we live in, the 6th millennium, is corresponding to Chumash Devarim. Chumash Devarim, if you count Nitzam Vayelech as one, has 10 parshiyos. Open a Chumash, open your eyes, open your heart, and you'll see the world that we live in described so accurately. Because in Parshas Nitzavim, which is the year 5,700, Tafshin, corresponds to Nitzavim Vayelech. And look at Nitzavim. Vatira Shikutzeihem, Yidden were enamored by Haskalah. Haskalah wreaked havoc in Klal Yisrael, and they Yidden left the fold by the thousands, as we know in the 1800s. Lo yoyev Hashem sloyach, the Baruch will not forgive that. V'ivdilu Hashem l'ra mikol shiftei Yisrael. Gofris v'melech sreifa kol arza. Europe was an inferno up in smokes. V'amru kol hagoyim ha'me'osa Hashem kacha. Even Goyim wondered, where's the Jewish God? How did he let his people be reduced to ashes? They were thrown out of Europe. Yidden lived in Europe hundreds of years. Rishonim, Achroinim. In 1940, they were thrown out of Europe. That's Churban, Europe. But then the very next pasuk, suddenly the clouds of war dissipate and the sun starts to shine again. The next pasuk, V'shavta ad Hashem aleikecha, V'yichamecha, the Rosh will have compassion on you. Umol Hashem aleikecha es levavcha es levav zarecha. You'll see a tremendous return. And the next pasuk, I believe, since the Torah was given, defied explanation. But we see the explanation with our eyes. The Torah describes a mitzvah. Ki a mitzvah azois asher loichim mitzav chayoim lo nefleisi Lo Yechoik is a mitzvah that's not difficult, it's not out of reach. Ki karev elecha davar ma'od, beficha levavcha la'asoisai. It's so close, it's so attainable, it's so reachable, it's so workable. Which mitzvah is this that's so easy? Says the Ramban, that's the mitzvah of tshuva. Tshuva? Changing is easy? And today the thousands of Baalei Tshuva are eloquent testimony that yes, ki karai eilecha davar ma'od. And if you ask me why did the Rebbe make it so easy? Why is our situation unprecedented in history since creation? I can only say what I think. Because the Gemara says in Masechta Sanhedrin, Vayasa Adam v'yinatzel michevlei shel Mashiach. Person that will be zoicha to live in Achros Hayamim. How do we do it? You know, he told me that his non-Jewish co-worker told him, and I quote, the problem that we face nationally, internationally, are so challenging and so unsolvable. Even we say that the only hope is the Jewish Messiah. Goyim are saying that it's Mashiach Zeiten. But Ma'yasa Adam v'yinatzel, says the Gemara, no uncertain times, Yasoik b'Torah u'b'milas chasadim. The only eight is learning, chesed. And I picked up a while ago a Gemach directory list. Every imaginable and unimaginable Gemach. Everything. Down Gemach, shtik Gemach. There's a sheres ha-plate, leftover food. If you need it, they give it to you. And I'm looking pages and pages and pages of Gemachs. And I thought to myself, Rebbeinu Shloim, where did you get such children from? Such a love, such an obsession, such a devotion for chesed. You know why that is? Because the Rebbeinu Shloim wanted that we should all have that lifeboat, that atzola for Chevle Mashiach. And he gives us Torah and chesed on a silver platter. I'm going to make it easy to every single person, every single level. For those that never went to yeshiva, that were never religious, or went to yeshiva, another victim of Tazvenu Yom Yamayim Azveka, whatever the case is, I'm going to give you Torah and Chesed on a silver platter. We are a dar, ki karai v'elecha hadova ma'oid. We are the generation of V'shavta ad Hashem Elokecha. But you know what's intriguing about it? The very next pasuk, in Parshas Nitzavim, which is the prediction of our dar, which paints that absolutely magnificent picture. The very next pasuk, Re'ei nasati l'chanecha hayoyim es hachayim es hatoiv es hamobes es hara. And like Rashi says, the Rebbeinu Shloim has to beg us like a father imploring his son, Ubacharta b'chayim. Because if not, there's going to be another churban. Haydoisi b'chem hayoyim. There's going to be another klola. And you say to yourself, what is going on here? If the Rebbeinu Shloim gave us an unparalleled chayim and toiv, does he have to beg us? Isn't the choice clear? Chayim and Mavis and Bracha and Klola? But you know something? This is what we see in our day. In Tafshin Ayin Ches, those that want to connect to Torah can reach unprecedented heights. They can pick up a phone and connect to Kol HaTorah Kula. But then again, someone that doesn't have the interest can pick up a phone and to connect to the Pitzrei Shel Gehenim. Yes, there's so much time that we have. We don't work as long as our grandfathers did. Are you going to use the time properly? Are you going to invest your time? Are you going to invest your money? Someone told me this story. That a woman told his wife, look, my husband bought me a beautiful ring. Look at it, isn't it beautiful? So the woman said very proudly, my husband gave me a nicer gift. Oh really? What was it? It was a Siyum on Masechta Shabbos. That's the balance. There always has to be a challenge. Zeh le'om zeh. It's the easiest dart to learn, and it's the easiest dart to get distracted and to be another victim of the pursuit of happiness and forgetting that the true happiness is Limud Hatorah. Because at the end of the day, life is all about our choice. Ubacharta b'chayim. We are a dar, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, it has to be our choice. Take advantage of this situation that we have. I once flew to Chicago. It was a legal holiday. And if you don't travel, it's 12-hour travel for 1 hour share. And I'll tell you the truth, I thought maybe it wasn't worth it. But there was a moment there that left an indelible impression. I came to Chicago, the shul I was speaking, and they said, you have a few extra minutes, you can sit down and learn, we'll call you when we're ready. And I'm sitting next to this fellow, who clearly was not a Rosh Yeshiva, not a Kol Yungaman, and he was learning with an unusual intensity. He's learning and he's learning. I went to give my speech, and I came back, and you have a few extra minutes till we get to the flight, the return flight. And I came back to the room, and as if he didn't move, he's learning and learning and learning. I was very curious to know who he is, but I didn't want to interrupt him. And he looks up, he says, you know something, I have to apologize, I didn't come to your speech. You don't have to apologize, I tell him. But to tell you the truth, he says, I'm taking a test today. You're taking a test today? There seem to be strange people in Chicago. He's a middle-aged fellow. I'll tell you the truth. I'm very successful in business, I have a lovely family, but I wasn't learning. I went to a shir, but I wasn't learning. And it bothered me. And these words really burned through my neshama. I only live once. I only live once, and I'm not learning. So, being a very goal-oriented, driven businessman, I did some research, I looked, and I discovered a program called Dirshu that they give written fahers. There are different levels, different options, and I'm very ambitious. I embarked on the most arduous program, 30 block be'in written tests a month. And I have a test today, and I can't go to a share because I'm busy with my learning. And he told me these words, says, you know, it's a few years later, I almost know Shas. That's ubacharta b'chayim. That's a person that's harnessing the bracha of our dar and bringing it to unprecedented heights. You know, we have a tremendous ability to accomplish if we raise the bar in our learning. The Paravich Rav once said, the Medrash says in Parshas Lech Lecha, there are 10 ra'avim, there are 10 hungers. But the most difficult of all the 10 is what the Navi describes, Lo Rav Lo Lechem, V'Lo Tzamo Lamoyim, Kim L'Shmoyes Divrei Hashem. The Paravich Rav says, what? That's bad? Isn't that wonderful? There's a thirst for Torah? He said, yeah. Because when someone is starving, he's happy with nothing. We have a dar that can do so much in Limud Torah. We have a dar that we can have hundreds of Yossi Glibimans that are learning Shas Be'iyah and knowing Shas and becoming Shas and living Shas. Because he represents that there is no excuse. He's a busy person with a wonderful family, with all the tirdas that we hide behind, and he represents that there is no excuse if you realize that this is the mission of our generation. We are a dar that has to be on fire with kavato itim l'Torah. Or maybe I should say better, we are the dar that have to symbolize Yasik b'Torah uv'gemilas chasadim. The Rav Shulchan Aruch writes that every person has a mission in life. Very subjective, but very specific. To finish his chelik in Torah. Again, there are very many variables. People are busy, health, parnasa, but everybody has his mission. And we live our lives in that moment, and he quotes the Gemara, Ashrei Misha Bolekan v'Talmudai b'Yadai. Here, Rebbeinu Shalom, this is my chelik in Torah. 3 times a day, they were reminded of that reality, b'sein chalkeinu b'sayra secha. And we have to be focused on it. And today, it's a generation that was never made easier. But the distractions are equally tantalizing. And that's what we have to learn from this Siyum. Chaim Kanievsky, when he made one of his shidduchim, he told the mechutin, I have to be honest with you, I can't come to every Shever Brachos because I have chayvus. So the mechutin says, no problem, it's a great schus, to have you, whatever you do is good. So after someone overheard this conversation and went over to the mechutin and says, what do you think Reb Chaim means? He can't come to Shever Brachos, he has chayvus. Do you think that he drives a taxi at night to make a few dollars? What do you think he means? I don't know, but I don't care. I'm happy to have his mechutin. Let me tell you what it means. Reb Chaim had a plan every year to finish Kol HaTorah Kula. 3.5 hours of learning intensely, he could finish his chayv of the day. And then, at the end of the year, he finished Kol HaTorah Kula. But if he goes, makes a chasana and Shever Brachos, he falls behind and he becomes a Baal Chayv. So he can't come to every Shever Brachos because he's a Baal Chayv. Tyre Eden, we're all Baal Chayv. The men are Baal Chayv, b'sei chalkeinu b'sayra secha. The women are Baal Chayvas to make sure the husbands reach their fullest potential and not are the victim of the mistapik b'mu'id. And today, if we take advantage of this situation, we could be the door of Yasik b'Torah. Shagafayvel Mendelitz, by Anil Sachag, would often say, "Megeit nicht avek von a Yom Tiv, menemt es mit." You don't leave the Yom Tiv, you internalize and hopefully eternalize the Yom Tiv. This Siyum is an extraordinary Yom Tiv. But I implore you, megeit nicht avek von a Yom Tiv, menemt es mit, to internalize and hopefully eternalize the inspiration of this Siyum. If I can humbly suggest, each and every one of us, v'ani b'soichem, sometime before tomorrow morning, to think, to concretize the inspiration of this Siyum. What this Siyum represents is the triumph of Ratzain in Limud Torah, that a person could be as great as he dreams of being. And maybe to each person in his own life, to mekabel a notch higher, to raise the bar just another notch, to do something special post Siyum Parshat Mishpatim Tafshin Ayin Ches. And tomorrow morning when we say the bracha Lasoik b'divrei Soira, we'll implement it. We'll make the kickoff of that Kabbalah, because to see such a Siyum and let it just pass into the oblivion is a crime. Let me just be Messiah with a story that I heard from a Yid. I was able to have by my shir for many years. He was very close to the Chafetz Chaim. And I used to ask him, tell me something about the Chafetz Chaim, because no, there's too much to tell you. He said, tell me one thing, I'll tell you one thing, but it's a kleinigkeit. It's nothing, it's trivial. When he was very close to the Chafetz Chaim, but when he initially arrived in Radin, he had not met the Chafetz Chaim personally. He saw by davening, and he received an urgent telegram. Yes, the young fellows don't know what that is, but that's like the communication in those days, that a girl cousin is deathly ill, go into the Chafetz Chaim and get a bracha. So he went in, and he had to wait online. And remember, this is, the excitement and was mounting. I had never spoken to Chafetz Chaim. This is the first time, and he's waiting in line and getting closer and closer, and he's more and more nervous. And finally his turn came, and they literally pushed him into the room. He was all of an 18-year-old boy, and he froze. He was so frightened, face to face, the head of the Chafetz Chaim, he just couldn't get a word out. And the Chafetz Chaim knew people are waiting, and he looks at him, and he's waiting, and the more the Chafetz Chaim waits, the worse it gets. And the Chafetz Chaim looked at him, and I'll quote what he told me. He said these words, "Ihr seid doch von unserer. You're one of our boys. Ihr weißt doch allein the größte bracha. You yourself know the greatest bracha. Seid Moisef HaSeder, Aaron of the Seder, und sie that haben Arfu Shalema." He said, "Thank you." He turned around, he walked out, and he almost fainted. He didn't say a word about Z and Arfu Shalema. But you know what the beauty of the story is? Not that the Chafetz Chaim had Ruach HaKodesh, that we know. But how he encapsulated the Atzlacha of Klal Yisrael. The greatest bracha is Seid Moisef HaSeder. Tayr Yidin, ihr seid doch von unserer. You see, this wonderfully happy family that I see of Loim Day Torah. Ihr weißt doch allein the größte bracha. Let us add a Seder. And hopefully we will add to the schusim that we so desperately need of Yasik B'Torah U'Milas Chasadim. And we'll be Zoicha to be as Mashiach Meher B'Yameinu. Amen. Thank you very much.